Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Making Medicine podcast, where science, policy, and innovation meet. As always, I'm your host, John Stanford. Today, we'll reflect on our own holiday here at Incubate, September 13th, coming up this weekend, or 9/13, and dedicate some time on the pill penalty and all of our work to end this unintended consequence of the IRA. Then we'll get into this week's headlines. With that, let's get into the show. This Saturday is September 13th, or 9/13, a special day around Incubate where we call attention to the ongoing pill penalty that was part of the Inflation Reduction Act. As many of you know, this pill penalty, or small molecule penalty, is how we refer to the fact that now small molecule medicines only have 9 years of protection before price controls, whereas biologics have 13 years. This 4-year disparity is a significant deterrent to small molecule investment. As we've gotten into so many times and have resources on our websites and have shared with policymakers, almost 50% of a drug's revenues might come after year 9. And so we like to celebrate on 9/13 all the attention and effort that has gone into passing the EPIC Act, which would end the pill penalty by giving both small molecule medicines and biologics the same 13 years. Investors and entrepreneurs could get back to doing what they do best, following science to bring about new medicines. Incubate has been sounding the alarm on the pill penalty and has been working hand in glove with members on both sides of the aisle in Washington to end the pill penalty through passage of the EPIC Act. Earlier this year, we launched a national ad campaign that called attention to the EPIC Act. We had hoped that we could include it in the One Big Beautiful Bill, but we'll need to keep fighting in order to see it included in an end-of-year health package. Another way Incubate called attention to this disparity was our Small Molecules Big Voices campaign that keeps going, and I hope you'll check that out, as well as our Incubate shorts filmed at various conferences where we've talked with patients, biotech leaders, VCs, and policymakers, all saying the same thing. The pill penalty has to go. That's available on Incubate's YouTube page, and there are real stories at what's at stake if small molecules are left behind. But to change this policy, we're going to have to do more than tell stories. We're going to have to talk data. And that's why Incubate launched the Life Science Investment Tracker, which has been tracking changes in investment patterns since the IRA was passed. We've seen 26 drugs discontinued and more than 50 research programs abandoned, where in their own documents, companies pointed to the IRA and the pill penalty as being one of the causes for why they didn't move forward with a promising drug. It's critical that this be the last 9/13 where we're talking about the pill penalty. Another week, another mention of tariffs. President Trump announced that some pharmaceutical products might be exempted. That's a 0% tariff if they fall into what's called now Annex 3. That's about where our clarity ends, so we won't get too deep into the details, but there's some debate whether or not this will simply apply to generics, all generics, some generics, we're not sure, or even possibly branded medicines for whom patents have expired. Again, we won't spend too long here because there just isn't any certainty about what this is going to apply to. But the idea of exempting some pharma products from tariffs seems to continue to resonate and will probably be a part of the final policy package. That's particularly relevant as we had news out of Japan, and we expect other countries where a discussion about tariff rates in pharmaceuticals will keep following up. Notably, nothing in the Japan deal suggested that Japan will be forced to pay more for medicines made by American manufacturers, a key part of President Trump's most favored nation strategy. That is, making other countries pay more while we pay less. So it remains to be seen just how serious this MFN strategy is as part of the trade representatives' efforts to negotiate tariffs around the world. Also in the news, HHS Secretary RFK Jr. was in front of the Senate, a contentious hearing debating vaccines, how he's running the agency, personnel, and, interestingly, the IRA drug price negotiation program. The secretary contended that the price controls put in place by the Biden administration had actually driven up costs for pharmaceuticals, whereas Senator Cortez Masto pressed hard, saying that there were savings. Of particular note, we can't seem to even get our own government to agree whether or not this program is functioning correctly and saving money. We know certainly that through things like the pill penalty, it's hurting innovation. But the constant trap of list prices showed up again. The numbers being pointed to in terms of savings had to do with comparisons to list prices. So let this be our 1 millionth time on the podcast pointing out that list prices are not the prices being paid through Medicare, Medicaid, or frankly, any drug deal across the country. And so to point to savings off of list prices is erroneous. I don't know if RFK Jr.'s numbers were accurate, but I certainly know that Senator Cortez Masto pointing to discounts off of list prices isn't capturing the whole story. On September 3rd, the FDA announced their Rare Disease Evidence Principles, or RDEP, which will give more clarity to rare disease companies about eligibility and evidentiary standards as it relates to moving rare disease products faster through the FDA. Eligibility criteria out of the FDA noted investigative therapies must directly address a genetic defect in question, target very small rare populations, generally less than 1,000 patients, and apply to patients with rapid deterioration leading to disability or death, and importantly, have no adequate therapies available. It's important for companies that are working on rare disease that they have predictability and speed to get to patients as fast as possible. So we're pleased to see the FDA announcing clear guidelines about what it will take to get into this program and take advantage of it, and hopefully make a difference to patients who are so critically relying on new innovation. With September 30th around the corner and a shutdown looming, it's important to also remember that action is needed on the SBIR and STTR programs. It seems like compromise on a long-term plan for the program just might not be reached. And so we're hopeful that a 1-year extension, as proposed by the House Small Business Committee, might be a soft landing to ensure certainty for a program that's worked critically well, not just for biotechs, but for innovative companies across the U.S. And that'll give more time for continued debate about how the program can best serve American companies. With this episode focusing on 913 and the pill penalty, there's a great new article out from the National Pharmaceutical Council in Health Affairs that interviewed a lot of VCs about their views on the IRA and how it's impacted investment. There are a lot of great takeaways in the scholarly piece, and we encourage people to take a look at it, but we will crib that 77% of those interviewed said the pill penalty was impacting their investments. So thanks to NPC for adding to the body of evidence that says what we all seem to know. The pill penalty is bad, should be ended via the EPIC Act, and we should all get back to making new medicines that make a difference for patients. That's all for us on this episode of the Making Medicine podcast. Reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on the world of policy and innovation. Follow us on LinkedIn, X, and Instagram using the links in the description of this video. We hope you'll celebrate 913, think about ending the pill penalty, and as always, keep innovating.